Hey guys, Fred here, welcoming you to my Summerslam triple whammy. Yeah, this thing gets bigger every damn year. You know what, I've got 3 things to cover in this video, and if you want to reach a specific part of this video for whatever reason, all you have to do is click on the timestamps down there in the description box below. You'll get everything you need. So that should be all good, right? Now, the first announcement I want to bring out of the 3 that I'm going to be doing today is effectively that I've got a Q&A coming up. Some of you have wanted one for a while, and I can't do a recorded one because it would take ages for me to make. Not to mention, after the last couple I've made, it's taken a hell of a long time to upload. So this will be a live stream Q&A, and it will be done next Sunday. Yeah, you heard me right. Sunday the 24th of August. What time it will be our time, I have absolutely no idea yet. But if you want to find out what time it'll be, all you have to do is follow me on Twitter at ccnetworkyt, the link of which will be down in the description box below, because if you don't follow my Twitter, you won't get all these important little news tidbits. Otherwise, you might be left in the cold as to what the hell is going on. Yay! And yeah, this Q&A will basically be following no real structure, because it'll just be me on the screen answering your questions as they come. And, well, the fact is, what will it cover? Who knows? I mean, it's up to you guys. You fuel the Q&As with your questions. I don't really have to control much of it. I mean, sure, it could be about my personal life, which is always something some of you want to tap into. There's any of the 4 CC Network programming blocks, 2 of which haven't started yet, which means if you want to get any more information about that, feel free to ask. I mean, hell, feel free to ask about any future possible videos and topics you guys may want me to look at, or whatever the hell may exist. I will be able to give you something, and for anything really in this case. And you know, I haven't done a Q&A in a while. This should be quite fun and quite interesting. So, 24th of August, I believe, in my framework of things, it might be between 9 PM BST, I love how BST just sounds like something really wrong, and probably maybe midnight BST, but it might be starting later than that, depending on which audience I want to really appeal to with this thing. So if you follow my Twitter, you'll be able to feel every single bit of news that comes out of me. So if I have a start time penned in, I'll be able to announce it to you guys. So 24th of August, pin that down in your diaries. The next live stream Q&A from me, and the first one as part of the CC Network, coming to you. Now, the next part of this video here, going to talk about the 2K15 roster reveal, because this little baby has kind of gotten me a little bit pissed off. Because the one thing that I'm looking forward to is a new WWE game. I mean, who the hell wouldn't? And the fact is, the roster reveal every year just seems to get a bit more big, a bit more pompous, a bit more ridiculous. And a lot of people, after what has just happened, I mean, I think the feed finished about half an hour to 45 minutes ago. I could be completely wrong on that. But the fact is, this is not the full roster, and some people are losing their minds over it, me included, especially when 2K advertised that the entire roster would be revealed on one ginormous video of doom. And I was expecting it. And lo and behold, all we got was a bloody fan access panel, which annoyed me because I did not want to hear Hulk Hogan yammer on for hours, and I think, honestly, after what happened at WrestleMania, I think I have a reason to carry that through. Now, that didn't stop me from being a little surprised with a few of the inclusions. I think the good thing is we've got a lot of the current guys out of the way, even though we are missing a few notable names, mostly Paige being the most notable of them. But we also get CM Punk, which is fantastic, knowing, well, he's in one of the rivalry showcase pieces, so it all works out. But the one that really, really surprised me, 2 really surprised me actually, is Tyson Kidd and Justin Gabriel. I did not see these coming. And honestly, I'm really, really happy. Because honestly, it means I get some extra depth in the roster when it comes to it. Now, which legends are there? Who knows? We haven't got any announcements regarding those yet. Are they going to get their own special little panel, or their own special little reveal of their own? Possibly. Are they unlockable material that they haven't told us about on purpose because they want to try and make us play through the game to find out the content itself? Who knows? The fact is, this is a problem because now people are just losing their minds because they believe they've been duped, or they've been trolled, or they've been tricked into thinking the roster was going to be here. And, I can agree with you on some regards, but I can tell from a marketing standpoint, releasing the entire roster in August, when you've got a couple more months of time before the game releases, you want to end up utilising it. Because if you don't reveal everything, if you reveal everything at once, you're going to run into problems. Me included. I mean, I don't want to reveal everything I've done in advance at once. That'll be stupid. I haven't really done that yet, have I? Anyway, I have to admit, the roster so far, from the current wrestler perspective, looks pretty good. I am a little bit surprised no Zack Ryder for obvious reasons, which if I have any time to address, I will do, along with a few others, like I've said, Paige and guys like Rusev and people like that. Now, I know the roster, of course, gets nailed into place around WrestleMania time, but then again, the WWE career mode, you go through the Performance Center, then through NXT, then through to the main shows. So you kind of need some NXT names in there, otherwise it doesn't really make any sense. So I really want WWE to kind of give me an explanation on this. We need these wrestlers, where the hell are they? If the mode is included, where the hell are these things? Are they DLC? Are they unlockables that we haven't been revealed on purpose? What is it? Tell me, for God's sake, it's important. And you know what, if I have to wait a few extra weeks to find out where most of this roster is, I don't really mind. As long as I get it in the end, I'm not fussed. But I know some people with low attention spans really need to have this information now, and they will continuously berate you on social media until they get it. I'm not going to be one of those, but I can see a lot of people who will be doing it. And with that out of the way, I can say that with the inclusions of Goldust, RVD, Batista being in there for the hell of it, which I quite like, Curtis Axel being in there finally, Chris Jericho's, of course, being included, which is fantastic. Bad News Barrett under the name Bad News Barrett. Fuck yeah, can't believe that. Really happy with it. Seeing Luke Harper and Eric Rowan's renders on at least the character selection page is pretty damn cool. I'm surprised to see Santino in there, but then again, like I said, the roster was confirmed prior to his retirement, so I can understand him being in there. Although I will say, the quality of some of the renders is pretty damn laughable. If you don't understand what I mean, there is a huge difference between some of them, and they look really weird. Like, some of them look really professional. Like, they've added loads of effects to official pictures. Like, The Rock's one looks exactly like his WWE Championship holding one from the picture that build up to WrestleMania 29, which is all good. Some of them just look really bad. Dean Ambrose's, for example. The Miz's. I mean, they look really similar to the point where you really can't tell the difference. And yeah, if you want to poke fun at that, go to the roster page down in the description box. Also, it does say full roster coming soon, so people who may be losing their shit, don't worry. We still are waiting, and I'm hoping it will be good in the end. Right, let's get on to what is the real reason behind this video then, shall we? Because, ladies and gentlemen, it is time for my SummerSlam predictions. And oh boy, this is going to be very, very interesting indeed. SummerSlam this year, while having some good matches on the card, I'm looking at it and I'm thinking to myself, I hope in pay-per-view it's executed better than it has done on television. You see, because of all this WWE Network and $9.99 out there, I don't really think WWE have been focusing a lot on their storylines, even though some of them have gone through superbly. Look at the Ambrose-Seth Rollins one to see my point. I look at some of this and I think, you could have built this up a bit better. Especially knowing that in the last couple of weeks, Raw has been pretty much non-existent in quality, minus a few matches and a few promos that have kind of made you go a bit mental. The John Cena Brock Lesnar really had a good promo, which kind of just set the stone alight for this entire feud. The fact is, I'm annoyed because this SummerSlam should be more intriguing to me. However, 3-hour Raws for me have become a little bit unwatchable in recent times, because staying up from 1 till 4 in the morning at this moment in time really doesn't feel like my cup of tea. So, I'm looking at SummerSlam with a bit of a jaded mind of things. I'm not usually going into a pay-per-view with this much skepticism, especially around the build or something. And the fact that we only got the pre-show released today here on the Saturday, the day before, with no build whatsoever, is kind of irritating, and annoyingly enough, we're going to have to deal with it. Speaking of that pre-show match, Rob Van Dam versus Cesaro. Seems all good, doesn't it? I mean, the fact is, this match should be good and should be watchable and should be quite fun. Although we have seen these guys wrestle before, it's just a good place a match to kind of say, hey, this will get people excited. Yay! I would have liked Cesaro to have done something for SummerSlam that would be a bit better than what this is, but then again, RVD and Cesaro, they proved over time that even though RVD's ring work and chemistry with Cesaro might be a bit sloppy, they still pulled out a high-energy match. So hopefully we'll be able to get that in there. And you know what? It should be kind of fun, because I don't rate pre-show matches, so hopefully this should prove to be better than I think. And you know what? I'm going to actually go for Cesaro winning here. 2 years ago, of course, he won the US title in the pre-show on this event. And the fact is, Cesaro could just say, hey, SummerSlam's my thing. I can easily build on myself here. And if RVD is going to leave after this event, losing on the pre-show wouldn't be a bad thing, Especially if RVD's main job is to come back and put over people. Cesaro needs a bit of extra footing. He needs this win, so I'll go for that. Now we got onto the main card, which I'm really surprised at, is that WWE actually announced 8 matches prior to the damn last week. This is amazing. I lost my mind. I'm trying to comprehend all this. And you know what? This is all good. I'm looking forward to seeing where some of these matches go. We start off with the Intercontinental Championship match. Dolph Ziggler versus The Miz. Now, of course, a lot of people are crapping on The Miz and they're saying he's awful. Fact is, he's doing his damn job as a heel, and you actually are reacting the best way possible. You're hating on The Miz because he's an arsehole, he's a douchebag, he's protecting his movie star face, when honestly it isn't that much of a look to begin with. Fact is, he's a heel, and he's getting the reaction that no heel at the moment can really get, outside of a Stephanie McMahon, in terms of hatred category. The Miz is legit hated by fans, and that's a good thing. People are crapping on The Miz, saying he shouldn't be IC champion and Ziggler should be. But hold on, you're doing the job that every other heel wants. You're giving Miz heel heat. And if you're pissed with yourself for that, that says a lot when you're trying to battle with your own morals as an IWC member. Now, I would love to see Ziggler go over here, because honestly, he needs a big win. He needs to reestablish himself after the bit of a losing streak he had in the early part of the year. However, Miz as IC champion is on TV every week. He is getting matches every week. He at least is showcasing that title in some way every week, even though it's not positive all the time. Fact is, we need The Miz as IC champion right now. Especially if, if we might have a face as WWE champion afterwards, and the tag team titles aren't on the line. You kind of need a heel in there to kind of get some balance. The fact is, we got it right here. Miz, I want to see him go on, especially when you think about where Bad News Barrett could come into the future in this. Because remember he said he's going to give a bullhammer to whoever is the champion by the time he returns? Think about a face Bad News Barrett bashing that face in with a giant huge elbow of doom. That would be incredibly rewarding. Now I wish it could have been Bo Dallas who got his face whacked in, but if the face is around a gimmick, then I think it would definitely be beneficial. While this should be a very well wrestled match, I'm going to go for The Miz on the win here. I know, I'm sorry IWC, I don't believe that Dolph Ziggler is going to win, therefore you have rights to apparently kill me. That doesn't really matter, because do I care? No. Next match, Chris Jericho versus Bray Wyatt, who has Eric Rowan and Luke Harper banned from ringside. This should have more to it. The fact that I've been bored shitless by this the entire time through highlights that the chemistry between these two hasn't really worked off as planned. Not to mention, I can blame WWE for pretty much not doing anything different with this entire thing. Bray Wyatt, as a character, needs to do some more messed up stuff to make sure his character retains freshness. Okay, sure, he's still one of the most intriguing wrestlers on the roster, we're not going to kid ourselves here, but you look at where this feud has gone, it feels stale after seeing all these attacks before, all these 3-on-1 beatdowns. Even though Jericho, as a resilient wrestler, as a guy who has enough ability to stand up for himself, looks a lot more believable in the role than say, a John Cena was. You look at this and you think, there should be more here. There should be more on the line here. Jericho should feel like he's up against this being who can do anything to him. And we haven't seen that in the build-up. All we've seen is the same stuff. And, I'm not getting bored of Bray Wyatt. I love Bray Wyatt. Now, don't get me wrong here. I love Bray Wyatt. But I want to see something different. And, if he wins, which he will do in my opinion, coming out of this match, hopefully he'll be able to take himself on and do something different. Because this is the problem with a gimmick like this. The aura around it is still there, but it's slowly declining the more the same stuff happens. Give me something different here, and I'll be fine. Jericho won at the last pay-per-view to make himself look strong for the build-up to this match. Therefore, Bray Wyatt will get the win, and if we do see a rematch, it might be on Raw the next night. I don't really know when. I don't even know if they're going to have a Night of Champions rematch, knowing Jericho's tour schedule. But Bray Wyatt getting the victory here makes more sense than anything. And if you don't believe that, well, you need to follow the buzzards, pal. Next, a flag match, which I was the one who predicted it, mind you. All those others who jumped on the bandwagon when I did it before Battleground even came round, just pointing that out there, folks. I know you may say, hey, I came up with this. Look back at my Battleground predictions. I came up with it first. Hey. Nonetheless, we have Jack Swagger versus Rusev in a flag match. Now, I've heard contradicting reports into how this match is going to be done. It's either going to be a standard flag match where they have to go and grab their opponent's flag or their own flag, or I think it's their own flag, and then just do what they will with it, basically. Or the rumour I've heard going round is it's going to be a submission match, followed by the winner taking their flag and then waving it around. You know, all that jazz. And I'm thinking, that kind of defeats the point of a flag match, doesn't it? I mean, the rule regarding a flag match is you have the ability to grab your flag and then highlight your superiority by being able to incapacitate your opponent to be able to do it. These two are big, physical, beefy guys. They will want to terrorize each other, and with there being seemingly no rules, it'll be inevitably easy for them to do so, and it should look like a bloody war zone out there. Hopefully. And you see, when you put in a submission rule to a flag match, it doesn't create that much reason for the flags to play a part. It's the national pride that plays a part in this match. If you remove that national pride by taking the flags out of the equation until the end of the match, you're technically not doing us any good service for it. And honestly, I really think, in a way, seeing the loser have their own flag or the opposition flag draped over their body, like the ceremonial corpse-inducing like they did with the Dudley Boys and La Resistance back in 2003, highlights that it needs to be done with enough substance. If they have a submission-based ruling, it'll be based on mat ring action and not much else. If they can brawl to the outside and beat the crap out of each other, warranting that Warzone quote I just mentioned earlier, it will inevitably be more entertaining for us. You know, when I look at the winner here, I don't really know who I'm going to pick. I mean, overall, people might say Rusev just to keep him strong, especially after he had a damn count-out victory at the last one. I mean, honestly, though, it's been built up for Swagger to knock Rusev off his perch. And that's one thing I'm hoping they do, because if they don't, it means this entire feud has been built up for nothing. And I don't think any of us want that. You know, we all want to be able to see Rusev be dethroned by someone. Sure, at the beginning of this, it wasn't going to be Swagger. I mean, fact it is, we did not think this was going to happen months down the line, did we? Fact is, I'm looking at this right now and saying to myself, Swagger gets the victory, drapes the US flag over Rusev, and all will be good. You know? Seems good, doesn't it? The one thing about this feud, though, before I leave this match that does annoy me, I hate it how Lana can strike Zeb, but he can't strike back. Now, I'm not condoning domestic violence cases or man-on-woman violence here, but it's kind of a double standard when one can do something and the other can't, you know? I mean, seeing the man formerly known as Dutch Mantel getting physical, I kind of want to see that, kind of. So, I need to kind of see something like that, otherwise the potential used through it is not being done at all. So, kind of want to see something happen on Sunday night regarding this. Thank you. Next, AJ Lee versus Paige. Now this is an interesting little feud. One, because it's not a submission match like me and many other people wanted or predicted it to be. But then again, this feud has gotten a lot more interesting, especially knowing that AJ Lee lost to Eva Marie last week. Oh dear God, I want that out of my memory now. That was awful. Fact is, Paige has been acting a little bit mad, and I don't think she's going to win it. Now, I know that AJ has been portrayed to look really weak, but that's the reason why I can see that AJ is going to win. Because effectively, you don't get built this poor in a feud, especially when you've been stretched out after a match from an injury, kayfabe, to losing to a diva with no talent due to distractions. You know, you don't have that happen to you if you're not going to win the inevitable outcome of the match in the end. So, just looking at it from this perspective, AJ Lee's got this in the bag. Now, I'm hoping in terms of length, this match has a good amount of time, because these two can fucking wrestle. And we know that, because we know these two women, especially in the case of Paige, can fucking wrestle. You guys know it, I know it. And also coming from East Anglia, because Ipswich here, and sure, we are rivals with Norwich, but that doesn't matter, I still support Paige either way. Fact is, AJ Lee is probably going to turn out victor here, and I'm hoping it gets a lot of time. Give me 10-15 minutes of these two putting on a classic. I'm all happy. If I don't get it, then I'm going to have to ponder as to why it's even happening. But we're going to get a lot of psychology in there, because these two are probably going to bicker with each other, doing some mind games, wearing down body parts, etc, etc. It should be quite fun. Next. Well, it's a lumberjack match, everybody. Dean Ambrose versus Seth Rollins. Now, a lot of people have gotten pissed by this, saying, what? We were conned out of the match at Battleground, and all we have now to show for it is a lumberjack match? What the hell is this crap? Well, let me tell you something. This lumberjack match is a bloody good idea, because if you think about it, it builds up correctly with the story. You know, Seth Rollins has weaseled out of everything. Other people have attacked Dean Ambrose, stopping him from getting in a match, from winning matches, whatever. He wants to ensure, Dean Ambrose wants to ensure that not only has he got people on his side to balance things in his favour for once, but also to say to Seth, you try running like you've done before, you try and pull up some underhanded bullshit, I'm going to hit you for it, and you're going to feel the pain. You know, it's a way of saying, I can play mind games with a person who has an army of people behind him to do his bidding for him. I can play the similar mind games here. And not to mention, I know we all want physicality, we want blood, we want barbarism here, because obviously Dean Ambrose wants to kick the shit out of Seth Rollins. We know this. But the fact is, this is where it's all building. I can see there's because we have the match by a forfeit at Battleground, which we obviously know was complete bull. We then get this match, which I believe Ambrose will probably win. We then get some bullshit draw or no contest happening at, say, Night of Champions with a briefcase on the line or something. And then, well, we get Hell in a Cell in October, and you can kind of see where we're going with this. This is building to Dean Ambrose locking Seth Rollins inside a cell with a guy who wants to kill him, technically. You really want to see what the hell goes down here. We might be able to see, for the first time in a long time, a violent Hell in a Cell match that actually proves to be something. You know? And the lumberjack match fits in to the first stage of this. It has to be restricting Rollins. Then when the restriction is gone, we'll see how he fares. It'll inevitably turn into something awful at Night of Champions. And then, finally, he's locked in there. There is no restriction at all. You can't get help. You cannot run. I'm in here to kick your ass. And it all starts with this match. Now, after the last match and the build that Seth Rollins has been made to look really strong, and Dean Ambrose just being a badass like he is, doesn't really matter whether he wins or loses, as long as he gets his hands on Seth, it makes this match look much better, especially when you think that he's going to get the victory. You know, he's going to get the victory to regain strength after what he lost at Battleground. He's going to make himself look better. And if you go into a match of Night of Champions with that briefcase on the line that, in my opinion, will inevitably end in a count-out or a draw or whatever the hell you can think of, it'll inevitably mean both of these guys are equals. And if you have that, all's well and good for the build of the storyline going forward. So yeah, Dean Ambrose for the victory here. Makes the most sense to me, and honestly, I can still see Seth Rollins pulling something underhanded out of the bag, but I can see Dean Ambrose countering it with something even more ridiculous. All's well and good. Next. Well, Roman Reigns versus Randy Orton. This one is a bit of an interesting one, because I know a lot of people are kind of about this matchup, because they're thinking to themselves, okay, what's this going to do? Well, of course, people are thinking that Roman Reigns is going to win. You know why? Because he's apparently being built as the next big star of the WWE, baby. Fact is, though, this is where those people who think that this will be a marquee big win for Roman Reigns kind of don't understand the bigger picture here. Can I throw some facts at you guys? Okay, I will. Randy Orton has not won on pay-per-view since Elimination Chamber in February. Let me sink that in again. He has not won on pay-per-view since February. That should write the result down. Randy Orton is going to win this damn thing. Think about the big victories that Roman has had already. He has demolished a Survivor Series team. He has effectively almost won the Royal Rumble match and broke a record in the process. He, along with 2 other people, demolished not just the New Age Outlaws and Kane, but Evolution twice. Fact is, if people say they aren't big marquee victories, regardless of the event, then they have no idea what they're doing. Not to mention, he was in a WWE Championship match, for God's sake. Fact is, I've already said this before, that Roman Reigns' build, in regards to his monster push towards the next year's Royal Rumble and WrestleMania and all that, is very, very slow burning. It's going to be a position where he's going to get built really, really slowly, and inevitably it'll explode, and everyone will be really, really psyched, hopefully. But you see, Randy Orton, after losing a lot of matches, kind of needs to get a bit more in the footing here, because honestly, I'm going to say this in regards to the main event, but we don't know who else in a heel term outside of a Brock Lesnar can fight for the damn championship. Now, I know you've got Kane, you have Orton, you have Rollins, all members of the Authority, the only heels outside of a Lesnar who are technically wrestling in a big enough position to go after the WWE title. And I know people are saying, oh, we have to see Orton versus Cena again. Ugh, it's awful. But the fact is, Orton needs a victory here, you know? Reigns doesn't have to win every match. Guys don't have to win every match. Wins and losses only matter if it comes into the build. If you lose a match but still look amazing in the process, it doesn't matter. You'll inevitably rebuild itself along the line and get another victory that'll stabilize it all. In the case of Randy Orton, he's lost so many matches, I'm thinking to myself, okay, so he's won a few on Raw, I can get that, but on a pay-per-view standpoint, he needs to win something. And you know, because I don't take Randy Orton that seriously, especially even though there's a bit of dissension in the Authority between him, Kane, Seth, and Triple H. All play in. If that's all going to dissolve around him, he needs a victory to say, I may be leaving the Authority, but at least I've got a win in the bag against Roman Reigns. At least I got that going for me, you know? And not to mention, if one aforementioned beast who beat the streak inevitably goes on to win the damn championship, and he puts himself back in the title hunt by taking Reigns out of the picture, think about the Randy Orton-Lesnar match that we've all wanted to see for so many years. That plays into a picture. So go for it. People are going to crap on me for saying this, but Randy Orton is going to beat Roman Reigns. It's going to happen. It just makes a lot of sense. Simple. Now we get to an interesting little match. Stephanie McMahon versus Brie Bella. Now, I'm not going to kid myself here. This is not going to be a 5-star classic. We can pretty much count ourselves lucky. But the one thing that is making me look at this match with such excitement is this is going to be just like, well, not just like, but it's going to feel, in terms of a match, in my opinion, like the McMahon versus McMahon match from WrestleMania 17. You know why? Because it's going to be sports entertainment soap opera at its peak. And that's the one thing that, up until this past week with that whole cheating affair crap, we effectively saw this as soap opera brilliance that WWE hasn't really tapped into for quite a long time, you know? And this match is all built around the story that Brie against Stephanie has, that Bryan versus Triple H has, and inevitably how the crowd are going to lap it up. You know, this is the kind of thing you'd expect from a place like Los Angeles, you know? And that's the thing that makes this match entertaining in a prospect, and it's appealing. Because we look at this and go, we haven't seen Stephanie wrestle against a person of her own gender since 2003. You know, we need to see what she can do. There's a bit of intrigue there. Not to mention, I want to see Brie Bella knock 6 bells out of Stephanie. Why? Because if you see her heel promos week to week, you want to do the same as well, because she's so smug and full of herself that effectively she looks down on us, her own husband, and pretty much everything else in between. It's the perfect folly for a heel. Now, I know there's a small problem here, because we don't know what Nikki Bella's going to portray in all this. We don't know what Triple H and Daniel Bryan are going to do in all this, because they haven't been announced for anything. So overall, I'm thinking to myself, in regards to the result of this match, there's something telling me that Stephanie is going to walk out victor. Now, I don't know how that's going to happen, but I could see it happening. But to resolve this entire storyline, we need Brie Bella to walk out victorious. And I know people have been rumouring a Nikki Bella heel turn, but what purpose would that give? We have enough heel divas. Alicia Fox being one that was dropped spectacularly. I mean, the fact is we've got enough heel divas. We need a little more face padding to enable something to happen. Now, I'm certain we've already got enough heel divas to keep going. But the fact is, I want to see Brie Bella knock 6 bells out of Stephanie. I don't really care how it is. This match usually would not entertain me, but the build-up up until a bit of this past week has been so good, I really don't really care. I just want to see this. I just want to see what WWE does, how much time this gets, how much story is really put into the match via facial expressions, body working, outside interferences, all that jazz. I want to see how WWE executes this match. And I want Brie Bella to win. This is no scientific reasoning behind the booking decision as to why it could happen. I want Brie Bella to win. Because I think, like I said, we all want to see Stephanie get beaten up. Because I'm not condoning women violence here, but this is just going to be fun. Especially when I see the look on Triple H's face. You see what I mean? I'm excited about a match that usually would make me bored as hell, and the build-up has made me so pumped for it in the process. Now, I know people like Schleg Daddy just think it's all stupid, but listen, this is one of those times where I'm thinking, for the first time in a while, I don't have to look at a match and give a shit about how good the in-ring product is. This is all about the story, and if the story is executed well enough, then I'll be happy. And speaking of the story and in-ring work combining to make a product worth something, we get to the main event. Brock Lesnar, the man who defeated the streak, the one in 21-1, which still cannot believe months later I witnessed live, versus the WWE World Heavyweight Champion, John Cena. Now, the one thing I have to mention, there's one part of me that wants Cena to win, but that's only really to see a good mic work anti-Cena rant. That's probably the only reason I want to see Cena win, is because I will have the joy of seeing my favourite wrestling YouTuber rip into John Cena, which I haven't seen done in such a massive level, so I really want to see that. But now looking away from the glazed eyes of what I want, and looking into what this match really stands for. You know how I mentioned in my WrestleMania review how an Undertaker outside of a wrestling area is better than Lesnar, but Lesnar is better in the ring, which inevitably led to the match working on so many levels. When you look at these two, in ring, these two aren't equals per se. Lesnar still has a bit of a higher echelon on that one. But you look at Cena and go, he can fucking go. Not to mention that Lesnar and him have good chemistry. I'm looking at this and saying, this match isn't an ODQ match, it's a one-on-one matchup, and that's what throws a bit of a spanner into the works, you see, because it means, effectively, we don't get to see any of that bloody aggression and violence that we saw at Extreme Rules 2012, which a lot of people want to see, unless the referee gets knocked out within about a minute and we inevitably see a brawl that descends into chaos, like Undertaker Triple H at WrestleMania 17, referenced that pay-per-view twice now. Fact is, we're all going to see how that goes down. Now, Lesnar winning has some issues, and I think all of you have kind of thought about it. I've thought about it, is what is his schedule like? What is his schedule like that'll inevitably mean he can defend this championship? We don't want, like Cena said, a guy who comes back on a limited schedule beating people and then walking away for ages and then coming back to do the same thing. You know, we don't want to see that again. We don't want to see The Rock happen again. We don't want to see The Rock leave for the best part of 2 months with that championship and not defend it. You know? And Lesnar, you know, if I've already said this to myself countless times, if he was given the streak by Taker, he said, okay, you know what, we're going to give you the biggest victory of all victories, but you need to stay around in the future of this booking. You know, if we give you the championship that you want, then you're going to have to bloody well stick around and fight for it. Now, whether that has happened or not is not my problem. What is my problem is what happens inevitably if it goes down like I believe it might and he doesn't appear for ages. Because Paul Heyman has put some kind of embargo around him in storyline terms, highlighting that he can't be beaten. He cannot be thrown down. And effectively, Lesnar can't be beaten by anyone. Effectively meaning he's holding on to the title because no one can defeat the man who has defeated the Streak and WWE's top dog for the championship at one of the biggest shows of the year. You know, because that's the one problem. When you've got a Cena in the title picture, who the hell faces him? Rollins? No, they haven't built him up much yet, and if my prediction goes true, he won't have the ability to go up to the biggest level and face him. Bray Wyatt again? Would be kind of fun for the championship to kind of finish that feud off once and for all in a way that won't piss off tons of people, but it won't be good enough. Brock Lesnar with the title, you've got a lot of things in there. You've got Cena rematch clause. You have a returning Batista to deal with. You have Randy Orton if he beats Roman Reigns, like I've already mentioned. You then think to that and think, okay, Fatal 4-Way match at Night of Champions between OVW Quattro. That's all well and good. We all want to see that. In fact, Shay Daddy inevitably wants to see it too, which is great because that shows some positive skepticism from a man who normally doesn't have any. But I look at this match and think, okay, it's going to be well wrestled. It's going to have a lot of physicality. It's going to be fast, slow, fast. You know, have a good amount of pacing to it. Have good momentum shifts for it. That'll hopefully won't result in a Cena crap win like the original match did. But every time I look at this, I see it and just say to myself, whether Cena wins or whether Lesnar wins, we have a chance of being fucked over. Because, okay, Cena beating Lesnar in the same way he did 2 years ago. Fans are going to riot. Good Mike Quirk is going to make a giant, huge video about it. I personally am going to be amazed thinking, how the hell did you do that again? Not to mention, if Lesnar does win, I'm then thinking, where's the rest of the build from here? Who does he face? When does he show up? When does inevitably anything happen? Like, if is Roman Reigns going to face Cena or Lesnar at Mania for the title? Like, I don't really know where this is. This match, while it draws a ton of money, hell, you even have to factor in a healthy Daniel Bryan back in the scenario too, while we were mentioning names back there. You see, I don't know where this match goes. It's weird. It's got the marquee value of a big match name. It's got a big match bloody feel about it, and it feels it. That promo they did 2 weeks ago on Raw, when they both didn't appear on the show, was one of the best executed pieces of promo material that I've seen from WWE in a long time, because it felt real. But the problem I then have is, outside of that realism there, where is the rest of this going to go? Because the realism in Lesnar leaving is too much for the WWE's creative team to really take because they can't really work with it. And if Cena does it, what the hell is that going to do? No one's going to be able to face him because he's beaten every single person there is. Like, what happens with this? This match throws in more bloody questions. And I just have to pick a winner because I don't know what to do anymore. I don't know whether to look at this match and say, I can easily plan out what happens between now, Survivor Series, and beyond. Because in the case of this match, I can't. Because it throws so much uncertainty that I really am intrigued on one regard because I want to see how WWE inevitably handles all this. But I'm a little bit freaked out because I have no idea what WWE could do. Knowing their recent track record, I'm a little bit worried. Especially with the WWE Network being released in October, I'm then thinking, oh god, I have to wait for ages until I get that. Will I have to wait ages for Brock Lesnar to show up or John Cena to lose to someone? You know, it throws spanners everywhere. The gears are clogged up with bloody spanners and it's annoying. But unfortunately, I have to pick a damn winner. And you know what? I know John Cena winning seems very likely. Because, well, it's John Cena. It's inevitably possible that he will walk out the victor. And because of Brock Lesnar's scenario regarding the championship, it would be good for stability's purposes to keep the title in the WWE. But you don't give a guy the streak to inevitably have him lose a championship follow-up. So, unfortunately, I'm going to have to give it to Lesnar. Like, that's the factor. With everything else in there that doesn't make sense, you don't give a man the streak, the biggest victory ever, to then just say, we're going to let you lose to Cena. You know, the momentum that Lesnar has gained, to have it all flushed away, and then make whenever he loses a massive deal, you know, that's more important than everything else I've mentioned about this match. Because after all, the business sense of it all, the booking sense of it all, in terms of the future, doesn't really matter, because the right now is that Lesnar has more momentum going in than Cena has, and he had won the damn title 2 pay-per-views ago, and won a Fatal 4-Way. You know, both have momentum, but Lesnar has more, and he would lose a lot more by losing to John Cena here. So, Lesnar, you're going to become the WWE Champion, but the one thing I am hoping to God is that you defend that son of a bitch. If you win, I want to see you on these shows, not week in, week out, but at least more often than Rock was, okay? Because then I can be happy with it. I just want to hope that this match turns out to be as big as it could be. And I'm hoping it's as violent and physical as it could be. I'm hoping it tells as much of a story as the first one did. I'm hoping it goes as long as the first one did, even more. I just want this match to deliver more than anything. The winner would then be secondary. But all in all, Lesnar is my pick. And guys, there we have it. There we have it. It's over with. SummerSlam predictions are done. The Q&A announcement has been made. My views on the roster reveals so far, which I still have to give 2K crap for anyway. The fact is, it's all done. What are your opinions on all 3 of these things that I've revealed today? All you have to do is put your opinions down there in the comment section below. I would appreciate it greatly. Plus, if you like what you've been seeing and you want to see more from the CC Network, which will include Toy Commander playthroughs, the upcoming CCMLP character countdown, and a lot more coming in the future months, all you got to do is click that subscribe button down there and I will appreciate it. I can't believe so many people want to watch me talk about and do things. It's amazing. And I thank all of you guys for being part of it. Not to mention, I got to thank to the people who have recently crossed over to be my 100th Twitter followers, and then it dips down to 99 and then back again. There's quite a few of you, actually. I want to thank you guys for saying, hey, you like keeping up with my stuff. It's fantastic. And you know what? The CC Network is slowly getting there, but the fact is we got a lot more to show, and I'm looking forward to getting the rest of this content out for you. So yeah, Q&A August 24th, roster reveals a bit meh, and SummerSlam, even though it has some problems, is building up to be something amazing. Let's hope the pay-per-view review come Monday has a lot to say. I have been Freddie Thomas. You have been people watching. This has been the SummerSlam Triple Whammy, and I will see you guys next time, which will be Monday, for the SummerSlam review. Cheers, guys. Have a good weekend.